Welcome to the Storied Outdoors. My name is Brad Hill, and I'm joined as always by my good friend, my pal Brian Gill, and we are wrapping up season 9 this evening. It is a Monday evening, coming off an epic week down here in South Alabama. We'll talk a little bit about that, and just wanted to catch up and reflect a little bit on this past season 9, and then talk a little bit about the future. But it's good to be with you, my brother, and good to see your face.
Man, cheers, buddy. It's been
Cheers.
it's been a long time to get to see you a little bit. I feel like we've done a lot of our recording earlier in the season, and most of the ones that we've been kind of posting have been basically in December. We recorded
Yeah,
those about a little over a month ago or a month and a half ago, and so
yeah,
good to see you again, man.
absolutely. What
So,
what a season! What a season!
oh man, we were just going back here a little off air, uh, kind of recap and looking back at some of the earlier episodes in this season, it literally feels like a year ago.
I know.
Some of they're like I was looking at Kansas Sartin with the founder of Pakmule and just thinking, golly, when did we record that episode? I mean, what a great episode it was, but it seems like it was so long ago.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. It was fun to talk to him, and it's been fun to watch the growth of their company. They do such a great job with you know whoever their marketing crew is. They're killing it. And
Yeah.
man, they're doing some really cool things and they make great products. I mean, I love my pack mule and have enjoyed utilizing that piece of equipment, especially with the Subaru. I don't have a truck,
Yeah.
and so having putting it on the old back of the Subaru, it's been a gold mine. Just be able to take the ice chest and other stuff that doesn't go in the car anymore. It goes on the pack mule, and so.
Yeah. That's
Hey, we even
awesome.
got a Christmas tree this year. We didn't have to put it on top of the car. I could put it on the pack mule and not scratch up the top of my car.
You didn't Clark Griswold it this year.
I didn't Clark Griswold. No, not a sap. But
Not a sap.
but yeah, no, that was a fun conversation. It's just so encouraging and inspiring to meet folks like Kansas that are making cool things
Hmm.
and making them right here in the good old USA. And man, that was fun to hear their sense of adventure too. I love he calls himself the head adventurer.
I love that.
His business, his title at his company, and they just encourage just an atmosphere of adventure and creativity. And so, man, what a cool conversation.
That's awesome. So, do we want to jump into the season, or do we want to talk about you guys, the white
Oh my
post Christmas
goodness,
that y'all had in
I
Mobile,
know
Alabama?
the epic blizzard of 2025
Golly.
down here in Mobile it was freaky, man. It was just insane to see it happen and just to see how far south it was.
Yeah.
And then there was just like this cutoff line, and you
Yeah.
guys got nothing.
Yeah. Rarely does Birmingham get snow, but even like it's impossible to think that Mobile would get snow and Birmingham not get snow.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what happened. We didn't get a snowflake. Of
that's
course, they
pretty
canceled the
amazing.
schools, but
Yeah, well, just to be safe and all.
yeah.
But yeah, just to see the map. There was a pretty telling satellite photo during the day that showed like this distinct white like covering, you know, over extreme South Alabama and northern Florida and Louisiana. I mean, New Orleans got covered.
Yep.
Over towards like Dothan and South Georgia and all the way over there. It was just wild.
It's
And
crazy.
so, man, me and another friend of mine, that Tuesday morning, we were like, well, we're going to go duck hunting. I mean, when are you going to ever get the chance to duck hunt in the snow in Mobile, Alabama?
Right.
And so Tuesday morning, we went up to the upper Delta up above 65 near the Dolly Parton Bridge, and set up. It's super cold, but snow had not yet started to fall when we put the boat in, and then we got to where we are going to hunt on the slough that we're going to hunt. It was a very cold boat ride, um,
Mm.
and we got to the slough, and we got our decoys set up and got our boat and our blinds set up, and we settled in for the morning. And many of you that know me know I enjoy smoking a pipe, tobacco pipe, and so one of my favorite things of late during this duck season is I realize once you get set up, you're sitting until it's shooting light, until
Hmm.
it's legal shooting light, and it's cold. And so I was like, man, it's a perfect time to smoke my pipe.
You're
And so,
outdoors, you're
man,
bundled up.
I know. And so, man, I've been making it a regular practice to keep my pipe roll in my duck blind bag, and we get all set up, and I got my coffee, and I get a pipe going. It warms my hand while I'm sitting there in the
Mm.
cold. And man, we sat there waiting on shooting light, and here it comes. You just see little flakes start to fall, and you're up there, just in the middle of nowhere, in the vast expanse of the wildlife management area that is the Upper Delta, Mobile Tensas Delta. And so, if you've been around snow, like the quiet that you experience in the midst of snow, I don't know if it's something to do with literal acoustics,
Hmm.
that it's soaking up sound, and there's no, crazy reverb or anything.
Hmm.
Sound doesn't travel. It's like very quiet and very peaceful, and it was beautiful
Mm.
to see snow coming down, and it started to really, really come down and started gathering, on the cypress knees and bases of cypress trees around us, and the palmettos that are all in the forest up there, the way they're shaped, it has a little cone, and they're starting to gather snow. And then there are no leaves on the trees, so you can kind of see out through the woods for a long way. And so snow's starting to pile up, and it gives this sort of unique depth to everything.
Mm.
I love how it gathers on the tops of tree limbs, the very precipice of a tree limb, and it outlines trees, right? And there's just it's magical. I mean, the people that live in snow all the time are, they're used to that, but
Hmm.
it's not a sight you see in Mobile ever, really. I mean, it broke the last time it snowed that much was 1895 in
Yeah.
Mobile.
Wow. Yeah.
And we blew that record up, by the way. It was like 7.5 to 8 inches that we got. And I think they had like 6 inches, whatever.
I've
So
never seen so much snow. I mean,
it was unbelievable.
we had, I think, 6 inches in '93 in growing up in Eufaula,
Yes,
but like
that was the
that
last
was,
that I remember.
yeah, and then but that was even that paled in comparison to some of the places. I mean, I've heard reports of like 10 to 12 inches.
Yeah,
And
further east of us got a lot, got even more.
yeah.
But man, it was quite a treat to be in the Delta and to see the snow come down. Unfortunately, we didn't get to shoot any ducks. I wanted so badly for a group of ducks to come flying down the slough in that
Mm.
snow. And even if I missed them, it would have been just such a cool opportunity to see that sort of unfold. We saw a few. Uh, they're too far away for us
Mhm.
to really shoot at. But it was I think my buddy said that was the best you know hunting trip that didn't involve any kind of, like, we didn't even get to shoot anything, but it was still awesome, because it was such a treat. It was
Mm.
we saw a sight that very few get to see, sitting in the Delta watching it snow. And
Man, that's cool.
but I'll tell you what, though, we got the boat loaded up, and the boat ride back was much worse than the boat ride in, because for a brief little spell, at the very beginning of the morning, the snow was fluffy, and
Hmm.
then there was a little section of snow sleet,
Oh, a little
and
pelletized. Ooh.
yeah, And when you're going, you got the boat wound up, and you're going. That's stinging. That's
Yeah.
stinging snow.
Ooh.
Not,
Yeah,
um,
I don't like snow skiing when it's snowing. Like
it was
it
brutal.
hurts your face.
It was very painful. It was very painful to be, but boy, as we came back across that bridge, and for all of you that have come south on I-65, and the gateway to Mobile is this massive long bridge that goes over the Delta that the locals all call the Dolly Parton Bridge. We won't go into why it's called that, but you know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
And man, we were, let's just say we were very puckered up going over the top of that bridge because that
Ooh.
snow was coming down. But it had not like frozen yet, or anything like that. So it wasn't, I don't think it was as dangerous as it felt like because visibility was very low and we were taking our sweet time. We weren't in a hurry
Mm.
getting up and over that bridge, but I was glad to be home that morning. But it was worth it. It was worth it to see the snow the way that we saw it and where we saw it. And
You made a snowman with some oyster buttons.
we did, man. We made a little snowman, and I was like, any Mobile snowman worth his salt would have some oyster shells as a part of his attire, and so his buttons were shells, and had a pipe in his mouth, and had a straw hat and a little scarf.
Love it.
And we had a great time. We had a great time making him, and man, the kids played in the snow until their heart's content, throwing snowballs and all the things. And I just kept telling them, I was like, you better enjoy this because this is it. Like you may not see this in your lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good chance you won't see this in your lifetime. I mean, this is unbelievable. It was unbelievable. We walked around our little circle in our little neighborhood. I live on a loop here in Satsuma, and our neighborhood's not like it's not ugly per se, but it's a normal suburban little
Hmm.
neighborhood. The architecture's it's not like a midtown,
Hmm.
where the houses are real pretty. Like
Hmm.
not like down in Homewood. Some of those houses are they're beautiful and old craftsman homes and things like that.
Yeah.
This isn't like that. It's just kind of a basic, old houses. Some of them built in like the 70s,
Yeah.
ranch style houses. They're not all that beautiful or what
Yeah.
have you. But you blanket this neighborhood with snow, it looks magical.
That's when they need to take the pictures. If they
I
ever want to
know.
sell their houses, like,
All
look at what
right.
this thing looks like.
It was amazing.
That's
Oh
cool.
man. I got a friend of mine that lives over on Dog River, and he does have a magical and beautiful home, and it was even more beautiful with the snow on it. But he has sort of a long driveway, and he was showing me pictures, and he had a lamp post out there, and I was like, "Oh, did you see Tumnus?" I mean, it looked like Narnia out
Oh,
there,
that's
man, with
awesome.
all the snow on the ground. But man, we enjoyed it, man. It was an epic treat
That's
to
cool.
see, and I heard several people on Sunday at church talking about it being sort of a forced rest. Kids were out of school.
Yeah.
You couldn't really go anywhere because it
Mm.
was, I mean, we're not equipped down here for that kind of snow.
Yeah.
We don't have, nobody was cranking up the snow plows. They weren't cranking up the trucks that had salt on the back of them.
Yeah.
We were making do, and so you're just kind of stuck at your house for the most part. And so everybody kind of hunkered down and just kind of played and watched, and man, it was really cool. It was really really cool.
Man, that's so cool. Well, speaking of cool things, you got a nice rope hat on,
I
and
do have a fancy. This is my, I got to go on that pheasant hunt this year, so I felt justified in getting me a old duck camp.
you earned
This
that
is
hat.
I earned my hat, and so I felt like I could wear a hat with a pheasant on it, even though I wanted to wear it before, but I didn't feel like you should do that if you hadn't actually gone pheasant hunting. So I've done that, and this is my little treat for myself. And I really like the rope hat.
Man, those are so popular right now. Tons of our outdoor club students have the rope hats, and that's the exact style of the hat that we're selling right now. And
Yeah, a
man,
little pre-order,
doing the
We're
pre-order.
trying to do.
Yep, yep. So if we can hit that number that we're looking for, we'll be able to make the whole batch, and we're pretty close. We've just got to get over that hump, and we'll be there.
So yeah, they'll be just like this. There's some different colors that are offered. I think the tan hat has really been a real popular. There's the tan, uh, a green hat, a blue,
Yeah, the navy's cool to me. I like that one.
a navy one, and then the black one had several orders for the black. And so four different colors.
You can't go wrong with the colors. They all look sharp. I
They
mean,
all look great. Yeah.
yeah. I like that tan and the blue are my favorites, I think. But yeah, we're doing a big push for to try to get those pre-orders in. You know,
Yeah.
pretty simple. You DM us and then you
Yeah.
you do the money with Brad's Venmo and we'll get that put that name on the list.
Yeah, we need roughly I think 20 between 20 and 25 hats.
Hmm.
So if you're out there listening and you want to support the podcast, and really what this is going to, the sale of these hats will help us maintain things like our website,
Yep.
maybe a couple of pieces of equipment that we would like to have that would enhance us being able to do more with storytelling for the podcast and some some more in person opportunities. Um, but it would be a huge blessing to us, if you want to partner with us and help us continue to tell these stories and sort of join the team, get you a hat and rep the hat. Um, yeah, you can find one. You can go to our website, thestoriedoutdoors.com,
Hmm.
and there's a tab on there where you can go to the hat pre-order. But if you want to message us on social media, especially on Instagram, if you want to send us a direct message and say, I'd really love to get in on this hat pre-order. What do I need to do? And then we can go from there and give you all the directions that you need. And then we'll be happy. We look for, if you live in, Birmingham or Mobile areas, then we can just like hand deliver those, and we'd love to meet you
Yeah,
and
you
hand
wouldn't have to
deliver
pay for
those.
the shipping for
Yeah.
those hand delivered hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want it shipped to us, you just let us know. And yeah, we'd really love your help. So join us in supporting the Storied Outdoors by purchasing one of our new hats. And it's time. I was looking at my hat from earlier, and it's gotten pretty rough looking. I've kind of worn it out.
You
So
talking about the
the Boco
Boca?
hat that we
Yeah.
did.
Well, my wife, she's an avid trail runner,
Yeah,
and for some reason, it looks like both of the hats that I have been used running on the trails, and so I think it may be
imagine
time
that.
for me to get a new hat. maybe maybe put this one where my wife can't find it. Maybe get her own. But
Yeah.
no,
So man, it was a good hat though. I mean, I like the hat a lot.
oh yeah, it's awesome. I love it. It's beautiful. It's got a great background on it. It's got the logo on there, and I think that these are just going to be a cool, different one to have in the rotation.
Yeah, this
And
one will be a little more dressy,
yeah,
a little dressier than the Boco. This
yeah,
is a very classic rope hat, and like the one I'm wearing. If you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not, you can find out more information on our Instagram or our website. So, man, we
yeah. We'll
really
be
appreciate
posting
it.
about it in the during the break between the seasons too. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Well,
Brian, what was one of your you look back on this season? What's an interview that sort of really stands out to you?
oh man,
It's like saying who's your favorite
yeah.
kid. I know.
Who's your
I
favorite
get it.
kid?
It's really difficult
Yeah.
to pick a favorite one, but
Well, I if I can I go with a 1A and a 1B?
hey,
I'm gonna do
we
1A
make the
and
rules.
1B. We
We
made the
make the
rules,
rules.
right? I loved having Courtney Ellis and
Yeah,
her birding book about dealing with
looking up.
grief, looking up. Yep. Having her on here gave a really cool perspective of what she's doing, and the work that she and her husband are doing out in their church in California. Um, awesome conversation. I was really was, I think I was lifted up and encouraged really, um, I don't know, unexpectedly, really. I think that was kind of the word is unexpected
Mm,
enjoyment from that. I mean, we were excited to have her, but just she took it to a different level with just some of her wisdom that she was able to
yeah,
share.
for sure.
Yeah, and I gotta say, man, hearing Wade Blevins tell his story of his close call with his heart attack. I don't know if you watched the YouTube video or not, but I was misty eyed the whole time. I
Uh,
mean,
well, it's right here.
little allergies. Those December allergies were hitting us, man. And
Woo.
but gosh, man, what an incredible story. And you know, Wade, if you know Wade, you love him, and you know how he goes above and beyond to make you feel special. And
Yeah.
just seeing that God is not finished with that man yet is such a blessing to us all.
I know it made me laugh. You know, it's like we hit a lot of Jesus is per minute. Isn't that what he called
Jesus is per
it?
minute. Yeah, we
And
did.
and we talked, especially in the beginning. I know we have a lot of new listeners, and we're so thankful for all these new listeners. And so I think it begs it deserves us going back and saying, when we first started this, one of the things that we didn't want to be overly preachy. That
Hmm.
wasn't necessarily what we wanted to do. There's lots of great outdoors podcasts that are Bible study inspired podcasts. This is about storytelling and how God's at work in your life through your stories.
Yep.
And so we're not necessarily always gonna, be overly preachy. If
We're
that
not
comes out,
ashamed of it, but
no,
we're not going to be preachy at all. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's not, it's not what we're setting out to do. It's just really at our heart is we want to be good storytellers that are believers,
Hmm.
and we're not trying to preach. There's other spaces for that, and that's not what we're trying to do. But it was such a natural thing to hear, just a God honest truth about what was done in Wade's life,
Hmm.
and the perspective that he came away with, was very Jesus centric, and it was incredible and it was deeply inspiring, and I'm thankful for him, and thankfully he's still around. Man, what a great guy, and has
Hmm.
a lot of purpose left, and I look forward to seeing what the Lord has in store for our brother Wade.
Maybe we can get on the water soon.
I hope so. Sit around a fire with that guy.
Yep.
Like you, it is so hard to pick a favorite that really stands out. I could sit and talk with Leonce Crump for hours.
It's
I
pretty
spent
evident
that.
that you guys had a pretty close bond, even just from that short time together on your trip.
I just really, man, he is just this. He's a genuine, just a good guy. He's just my kind of people. I just want to be around him. He's just exudes goodness, and he loves Jesus, but he loves to laugh and all the things that we love. He loves, and man, just hearts resonated together. I had a
Mm.
great time hunting with him, but then I knew we had to have him, on the podcast. And I love that we didn't talk at all about, he's an NFL athlete. We didn't talk any
Yeah.
about his time in the NFL. We didn't talk really much at all about his time at OU playing, football for OU. We didn't talk about football at all. We talked about everything else, and
Mm.
and that's a testament to him. That none of that defines him. It's cool. I mean, it was a great opportunity.
Pretty
But
cool
man, there's
footnote.
pretty cool footnote on your bio. But we didn't really get into any of that, and we talked about a mound of other things, and he's probably one that stands out. One of the ones I was most thankful for, that as we started the season, I had not met him yet, and I got to go on that pheasant hunting trip.
Yep.
Kind of late notice. There was a guy that dropped out, and it helps to know people. They're like, "Hey, man, I was thinking who would like to go to South Dakota and shoot pheasants," and I was like, "Hey, I'm your man.
Yep.
I'm your guy."
Yep.
And then he got to be my roommate, and I knew immediately. I was like, "God, we have to have Leonce on the show, man. He'll be a blessing. He's been a blessing to me, and I know he was a blessing to people listening, and it was a great conversation. And then I think the other one that sort of stands out was Chad Brown.
Yeah.
I had reached out to Chad earlier in the life of the Storied Outdoors,
Hmm.
and it just maybe the pitch that I gave didn't land or whatever. Um, and I hope he listens to this. And I was sad. I was disappointed because I thought he could be really cool, but I get it. And then I hear back from him, and he'd been listening. He'd been watching us,
Hmm. Doing his
uh,
homework.
doing his homework, and wanted to see if we were somebody he wanted to collaborate with, and reached back out to us. And I was so pumped to hear from him, and to be able to share his story about what he's doing. And then, hear about, one, all that he's been through is unbelievable. We just scratched the surface
Hmm.
of all the things that Chad Brown has been through in his life. But how his life was saved, essentially, he says by fly fishing, and then what he's doing to pair up young, troubled teens with veterans to give them a mission. And it was just cool. It was a cool connection to make finally, and it was just really encouraging for somebody to watch what we're doing, and for them to go, these guys are real
Hmm.
and are genuine and want to and have a desire to partner with us. That really really blessed my heart, that we are accomplishing what we want to accomplish, and
Hmm.
that's to be genuine and to, but also tell good stories. And man, he's got a great story.
Yeah.
And
And
man, really,
he's bringing people into that story with him.
yeah,
You
yes.
know, he's reaching out. He's finding people who need extra encouragement and love and support in their time of need, and he's bringing them with him. And I love that.
Hmm. Hmm. But for real though, I mean, Joby and Charles, I think we could have sat and talked to them rascals for hours. I mean, we just,
So I
we
don't,
had to shut that down, man. We was like, God, we could talk to these guys all day.
I know, and like I don't know if I told you this, and I don't think I've shared it with Charles and Joby, but I was getting text messages from his assistant. He was like, "Hey, you think you guys can wrap it up? Like he's got a sermon to prep for." And I was like, "Hey, it's not." I was like, "It's
Hey,
not just me. We're all talking. Everybody's going in, and
that's
and I was,
hilarious. I did not know that.
but it was
That's
so
so
funny,
funny.
and I didn't want to go back at her or anything like that. I was just like, I really don't have a whole lot of control. I don't want to stop somebody mid-story or,
I ain't
you know,
interrupted,
I'm not interrupting
Joby.
Joby. And
Or Charles.
he was going into a full-blown sermon at the end there. And I
Oh,
was
I
like, I'm
know.
not
It was
stopping
so good.
this.
I ain't stopping that. I ain't
Nuh-uh.
quenching that spirit.
But I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I think we just got off. But she was like, he's got a sermon to prep. And I'm like, I understand. I get it. Yeah.
I think he can be okay.
You're doing a great job. And I know that that's a hard thing to do, is keep somebody on a time schedule. And so, but it was so funny. I was like, this is so funny. Doing the best I can here.
Yeah.
Oh man, that
But
was
yeah,
such a fun conversation.
it really was. Again, kind of our people, we just sit down and it's just a natural, there's so much of life there that is what we're all about. And man, I'm super excited about their new book that's gonna come out
Oh yeah, that
next year. And then the news that Charles released about
yeah,
the Keeper series being on TV. That's super exciting.
so exciting. And and having more say in the true heart of the message, that's not going to be corrupted by Hollywood or
Yeah.
certain filmmakers, but a really true indication of what he wanted it to be, which is that's
Hmm.
exciting.
Yeah.
Um, well, maybe we can have them on again whenever their next book comes out. That'd be kind of fun to have that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a. I think I'd love to do that. That would be one I'd love to do in person. Um,
Hey, that'd be awesome. Any
but
of these we
yeah,
could do in person. I'm for it.
yeah, I know it. Man, what a great another fall season that involved Christmas and the Christmas tradition of the Christmas stories, and then a new
Yeah.
story. You busted out a new one this year, and I got to record a new Christmas story. That was so much fun, man.
Dude, you killed the accent. Like that was straight Fairhope and Jimbo Metter, and
I was trying to
you were there. You nailed
I
it.
was trying to channel my inner Jimbo, man.
It was so good. Like whenever I heard, I mean, it just a smile came over my face. Whenever you sent me the little clip, it's like, hey, what do you think about this for the granddad or for Paw? And I was like, oh, that's it. That's it.
Yes.
So it was
Oh
a fun
man, that was so
story.
fun. I was Charlie.
Yeah. Oh man. So I have to give a shout out to my friend, one of my best friends, Brent. He grew up in Mobile, Fairhope area, and just getting the details of growing up in his mama and papa's house, and being able to do a try to be a good steward of what could potentially have been his story growing
Mm,
up, and leaning on him for a lot of the details on what it looked like, what it was like, what kind of fish, what kind of things you would catch in the crab trap. And I obviously I consulted you too, but it was just really a lot of fun to be able to tell a story that had a lot of people that were close to my friends in their life. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think it was cool that you had been, we had spent time at Jimbo's house
hmm
and walked out into his backyard.
hmm
In his backyard stands that, the Jubilee bell that
Yep.
they would ring. And he talked about ladies being out there and the hair rollers and the moo-moos. He said there wasn't no cell phones back then. You'd ring that bell. Now, then that's how everybody knew there's a Jubilee happening.
Yep. Yeah, that was a lot of imagery from his yard. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
if that was just in my mind, that was the yard that I was writing about.
absolutely.
And so
Man,
that was a fun
it's a
one to do.
beautiful place.
I've been wanting to do that one. I've been wanting to do something about Mobile Bay because it's just such a special place in Alabama. And then, we all know that it's very unlikely that a Christmas Jubilee would happen. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
summertime phenomenon, but
right.
um, it was fun to write about in a fictional sense.
No, it's perfect. It was perfect, man.
Thank you.
It's a great way to tell that story, and just a great use of all those things.
I did have a couple people email me or text me or DM me and say, "Man, I didn't know I was going to cry." Yeah, I was like, "Oh, shoot,
I'm not crying. You're
I'm
crying.
not crying. You're crying."
That's awesome. No, it was a great story. I loved it.
And it's always
Um,
fun to hear those other ones again. We talked about it, the sameness at Christmas. You listen to the same music, watch the same movies. We want to be part of your sameness every Christmas when we put
yeah,
these
man.
things back out there. We're not trying to get listens and pad our numbers. We're wanting to enhance your Christmas spirit, and we've had a lot of good feedback from these
Yeah,
stories. And so,
yeah, man. It's a new tradition.
yeah,
I love it. I love it, man. And it was fun to add a new one to the mix.
man, I need to share this with you. I got a text today from our old buddy Hamilton. You remember
Oh yeah, yeah,
went
yeah.
fishing? He was in one of the
Absolutely.
first episodes with the
Yes.
actual origin trip, and he said he just out of the blue. We text occasionally, but he's out of the blue. He said wanted to send along some encouragement. I have probably listened to Gates Shaw over 50 times between the 107 and 109 mark, trying to grasp the gravity of simply being held,
Mm,
allowing myself to be loved and to love others.
mm.
Such good stuff. That's all we want.
Come on.
How about that?
Come on.
Hamilton's a good friend of mine and good friend of the show, but that type of encouragement sent to me and Brad that goes a long
Oh
way,
my goodness, man.
and
That is went.
that's such a
Whew.
it just does my soul good.
Man, praise the Lord for that. Yeah, Gates was one of those guys, man. I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave his house. Oh,
Yep. We
we've
look
got
at all these episodes that we had, Brad.
yeah.
There were two things that were missing: your essay and my essay.
I know, I know.
This was the first season we didn't have an essay, but I think we're going to make it up on the back end of this next
I,
season.
I think so too.
Season,
I mean, I really like my essay. I got it written, and then we just had so many episodes that we got in. And then we had all the Christmas stories, and it's like, man, we can save the essays. So
well,
we decided to save them.
and then the snow came, and you can't get to your office where your equipment is and all that stuff. And so I mean, it was just
That's fine.
you know, it was. I think it's going to be amazing. I love that essay. It was beautifully written, and to be able to incorporate it with some cool stuff, maybe from the video standpoint next season, season 10, Brad.
I can't believe it. So this is episode 141. And then we'll start in the spring, season 10. We started in the fall of 2020, right?
Yep, yep,
Man, I feel like, a lot of I mean, you shared those stats before about podcasts
yep.
and how they usually don't last very long. There are lots and lots and lots of podcasts,
Yep.
but not very many of them really hang around. But man, we've been very blessed, with people willing to join us, and we just had such a good time so far. And I'm excited to tell more stories and meet more people, and it really makes my heart sing to be able to do this.
Oh, and and I could tell that you're the same as me on this. It brings life. It's just one of those things. We're not getting paid for this. We're not making any money off this thing, but it brings so much joy and life, and it gives me and you a chance to tell stories,
Yeah,
use the creative side of our brain that in my work it doesn't come out all that much.
yeah,
Um, but it's just something it's just good for the soul, man.
yes, it has been so good. And you talk about messages from Hamilton like that, or they are so good. And I've gotten some from I had somebody call me, I didn't even know they were listening to the podcast, and they were telling me how much they enjoyed it. It was just such a great encouragement,
Mhm.
to the work that we're trying to do, and the encouragement that the goodness that we're trying to put out into the world. If you're, a lot of people are real hesitant, I guess, or don't take the necessarily, take the time to write a review or whatever. You have no idea, one, like how, I think Ben Meadows talked about how little encouragement or feedback that they get, from
Mhm.
the dorsal films, and how good that is when they do get that. And we're the same way,
Yep.
if when we see a review come through on iTunes, which is where you can do written reviews and ratings, whatever. It is so encouraging to hear, who's listening and what they're getting out of these stories. And so, man, if this has been that kind of a blessing to you, man, take some time, man, share that with us and share that with the world. What that does is that helps other people find it.
Yeah.
What's one of the big things, if I understand it correctly, that more written reviews helps it to show up in more searches and more what's the word, sort of recommendations
Yep.
on Spotify and on iTunes.
Yeah, and it starts to hit these algorithms where you get these thresholds. 50 is a big number, and then the next one's like 100. And so
Right.
it starts to more frequently show up in people's who have similar interests, and yeah, it helps us a lot. It helps to almost, it helps to legitimize it. Basically, when I'm going to look for a podcast, I'm looking what other people are saying about it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it legitimizes what we're doing. And so it just helps to expand the reach and to tell our stories to more people, um, who you might think could benefit from them, or who might enjoy them, or just want them a part of their day. So
Yeah. Well, the best way is to just literally say, man, so and so, they would love this episode.
yep,
If you listen to an episode and it makes you think of somebody, man, take some time to send it to them. And
yep,
go, man, I think, I don't know if you listen to this podcast or not, but man, I heard this episode. It made me think of you, and share it with them.
yep.
And that's really genuinely that is the best way to help the podcast and help it get is to literally share it with your friends that you think would enjoy these stories. Because man, there's a lot of good encouragement. I've been so encouraged. I've learned so much through this process of 141 episodes of storytelling and writing and reflection. I've learned a lot, and I
Mhm.
look forward to the future, and season 10 and some of the things that we're going to do with season 10. We got a little adventure coming up in February that we're gonna get to record the opener of season 10 in person. So I'm excited about doing that and
Yep.
getting to hang out with you in person some.
Oh man,
And
good food, good friendship, good
that's right.
fellowship. We may have some surprise guests who show up for that opener.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
yeah.
Gosh, I can't wait.
Got some cool guests sort of in the queue for season 10 that are starting to line up, and we got a wish list, and some of the people that were on our wish list are on in the queue. So
Yep.
we're super pumped about the people that we're going to get to talk to coming up this season. Unique stories and unique people, and I think it's gonna be great. And I'm just again always blown away at who we end up, getting to join the show, people I never thought I would get to talk to. And now,
Yep.
Here we are, episode 141. We're still
And
going, and we got a lot more stories to tell, man.
a lot more stories to tell. Yeah. Well, man,
Been good to catch up.
looking forward to a couple of weeks from now, get to hang out a little bit.
I know it.
In between now and then, you got any adventures you're going to go on?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm gonna in the morning. I'm gonna try to
right.
squeeze a couple more duck hunts out before Friday, before season's over. I haven't killed a whole lot of ducks. I've killed a few, so we're gonna try to squeeze out a couple more. I got a couple of deer hunts I think I'm gonna get to go on, and then we're gonna try to do on the February 1st, Saturday. I'm gonna take Moose up to the Boggy Hollow wildlife management area, which is over there close to where you grew up,
Yep.
over in the Connecticut National Forest, where it's managed for quail there. And so we're gonna go give it a try. We're gonna go see if we can find a wild quail, see if Moose will find it and point it, and see if I can hit it. We may flush that bird, and I may totally whiff, but it'd be a lot of fun either way.
It'd be fun.
Just to go give it a try if we can flush a bird and experience some true wild quail hunting as one of my dreams that I wanted to accomplish with my bird dog. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Well, my wife and I are going to take my 10-year-old on a snow skiing trip in a couple of weeks, and so
nice.
we're that he wanted to do that for his 10th birthday, and we wanted to kind of make it a milestone birthday to
Heck yeah.
kind of do a trip just with him. My mom will come take care of my daughter, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't been snow skiing in probably 13 years, so we'll
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be sure to take some video and do it, maybe do a reel from the slopes.
Let's go.
That'll be
That's
fun.
awesome.
Well, man, enjoyed
I
hanging out
can't
with
wait.
you, buddy.
Yeah, man, you too. Can't wait to hear about the ski trip, and man, I'm looking forward to cooking up some wild game and sharing some stories down on Dolphin Island for the season 10 opener episode. So it's gonna be a epic weekend. So really fired up. Man, that's also gonna be my birthday weekend. By
Yes,
the
it
way.
is.
So I'll be the speed limit of 45.
Heck yeah.
45 on the 20th. So
Awesome.
yeah, don't forget. Hey, I just want to push it one more time. We're trying to sell these hats, man. If you want to jump on that pre-order of these hats, please shoot us a message. Get on Instagram, send us an Insta message or a direct message. Go to the website and follow the directions there to order one of the classic rope hats. It'll have the Storied Outdoors logo patch, an embroidered patch on the hat. I think they're going to be super sharp. We need to sell in the ballpark of like 20 to 25 of those hats to make that pre-order. Some of you have awesomely already joined that pre-order. Thank you so much for your patience as we try to fill this pre-order out so that we can make this order of these hats. And so if you want to jump on that, shoot us a message and we'll get that ball rolling. Partner with us, help us to tell these stories. And we look forward to seeing what is in store in the place we love to call the Storied Outdoors.
Have a good night, buddy.
You too, pal.